Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, romance addicts. It's me, 𝓛𝓸𝓬𝓮, author, stoker of flames, and thank you so much for joining me for this week's blog hop post. Remember that you can always find me on social media, www.𝓛𝓸𝓬𝓮.com, as well as on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Pinterest, all with the handle 𝓛𝓸𝓬𝓮. If you want to show me some love right now, click that subscribe button and ring that bell to help me out with the algorithm so more people can see me and you can get notifications of my next post. So let's check out this week's blog hop post. This one I found a little bit intriguing. I had to do a little bit of thinking of how I wanted to approach it. So this week's post asks, what commercial do you hate? What commercial is your favorite? I really don't have a commercial that I hate or a commercial that is my favorite. I tend to kind of look at them as, you know, what is the product? And not only that, but also what is the messaging that they're trying to send? And are they sending it? Is that a bad message or a good message? So that's the approach that I want to take. I'm going to take a look at two commercials. One that had a positive impact culturally, and one that had a negative impact culturally. I'm going to be looking at a Cheerios commercial and also a Chinese laundry detergent commercial. Each one of these commercials had global impact, one more positive than the other. So let's take a look. So the first one is a Cheerios commercial, and it was back in 2013, I believe. Let me double check. See, I should have checked. Okay. Yeah, 2013. And it's a little girl. She's obviously multiracial, little girl, and she comes to the table. Her mother's sitting at the table, so she comes to the table with a box of Cheerios, and her mother's obviously white. So she's asked the mother, it says here that Cheerios can be good for your heart and your cholesterol. Can it be good for daddy's heart and cholesterol? And the mother says, yes, it can. And so then the scene cuts to a black man laying on the sofa napping, and he wakes up and his whole chest is covered in Cheerios. So it's obvious the little girl put the Cheerios on her father's chest. Very, very cute, very, very sweet sentiment. A lot of people had an issue with the fact that it was an obviously interracial child and it was an interracial couple. Cheerio received a lot of praise. Okay, General Mills receives a lot of praise for the commercial, but also a lot of derision from, let's be honest about it, racist whites in the country, and saying this does not represent our country, despite the fact that been interracial. The statistics show that there's a rise of interracial couples across all different kinds of backgrounds. They stuck to their guns, and people said, I will never eat Cheerios again. But people also said, well, I'm going to buy Cheerios because I think it's a great commercial. What it did was it was very much a stepping stone. Not saying that there was never any interracial couples in any commercials before, but the response to this commercial and the notoriety, the amount of notoriety and press that it got, it very much served as a stepping stone. Interracial couples are on the rise in this country. We are going to market to them, okay? And it should not be a problem for anyone whatsoever. After this commercial, you saw a rise in interracial couples in commercials and other diverse couples as well. It opened up a lot of marketing in this country in ways that it hadn't been before. It could have been better, but it could have been even more so. But, you know, baby steps, you know. I'm still of the age where the majority of the marketing, you didn't really see anyone but white people. White, cisgender, heterosexual families, and it's broadening up more, which is, I think, is really, really great. So now let's take a look at the second commercial. Now the second commercial is from China, and it's a laundry detergent commercial. And for me, what it very much shows is the influence of global white supremacy and racism and the impact on global societies. Not saying that other societies and cultures are not anti-black. They very much are so. It's not just America. It very much is reflective of that anti-blackness and the dissemination of that anti-blackness. So the woman is doing laundry, and her husband comes into the laundry room, and he's a black man, and he has a paintbrush in his hand, and he has like little white smudges of paint all over his face. So he's looking at the wife all seductively and whistles at her. And so she does that little, she signals for him to come to her with a come hither look. And he's looking like, oh yeah, So he comes to her. She grabs him. She forces him into the washing machine. And then she sits on the machine. She's washing her black husband. And then the cycle's over. She lifts it up. And it's a white Chinese man comes out. Very much reinforcing stereotypes about black skin being dirty and the need to cleanse society of black people. I mean, this was just like racism 101. There's no cultural context to it. Oh, well, you have to think about it in that cultural context of China. Yeah, that's racist. It's racist in China. It's racist in India. It's racist in America. It's racist in Brazil. It's racism, point blank, and anti-blackness. There was a lot of negative global responses to this commercial, but both of these commercials had very, very significant impact culturally on society. And that is that, for me, it showed that advertisers are appreciating the fact that at least here in our country, that's becoming more and more diverse. Our country is becoming more and more diverse. There are more and more interracial couples. There are more and more interracial, multiracial, multi-ethnic children. They've always been here, okay? But there's just more recognition of it. And so that's very important. But also with the backlash from the Chinese commercial is showing that globally that there is an increased sensitivity to the existence of anti-blackness throughout the world. It is a global problem, one that negatively impacts black people. The backlash that commercial received is just reflective of that. We need to have these kinds of discussions and dialogues, and we need to highlight these things that are problematic, not only in marketing. Messaging like this is something that exists everywhere. It exists in books too. I just reviewed a book where I had to point out something that I found very disturbing, and that is that the author described a black character as skillet black. I kid you not. Skillet black, which is just such a derogatory slur of black people. This is the reason why we all have to be careful. And even some authors, they decide to use sensitivity editors to see where they're being tone deaf, where they're being racist, where they're being biased and bigoted. There's always these conversations that are occurring about writing and the art. You do not necessarily have to include all of this stuff that exists. You don't have to put the N word in your book. It doesn't lend to authenticity to your book. If you are not a black person, you know that in our society that there will be black people who have an issue with you as a non-black author using that word. There are black people who have an issue with black authors using that word, but definitely non-black authors using that word. Why double down on that? Why have that perspective? Why not have a little bit more cultural sensitivity? I think that is really important, not only in marketing, but also in writing. Let's think about how it is that we can have more diverse fiction in particular, and more culturally sensitive fiction. You can have a culturally sensitive story. That's a great one too. All right? You don't have to be culturally insensitive, biased, bigoted, or racist to have a good book. Let's be considerate out there when we're doing our writing. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Blog Hop Post. Remember to follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok now. I have a growing TikTok audience, and Pinterest, all Layla Writes Love. Join my newsletter so that you can get updates on my latest books. I have a new book coming out, book 3 in the Open to Love series. Baz and Rahma are on their way. They're in the hands of beta readers right now. So once they're done, they're going to go to the editor and the publisher. Yes. I'm working on book 4 of the Brothers-in-Law series as well, Brandon Hulse. And also I have that great story in the Savage Bloodline Mafia romance collection with all these great romance authors. I'm joining them, and we're all going to have stories about this international crime family, the DeLucas. My DeLuca is Emilio, okay? And I'll give a little bit more about him as we get closer closer to publication of that. But you can actually get the collection for 99 cents right now if you pre-order. So I'm going to have the link in the description section. So pre-order Savage Bloodline and get this great collection of mafia romance. And you can also get the prequel Brutal Bloodline, where you meet 𝓛𝓸𝓬𝓮, the new Dom. His grandfather got killed, and he was named the new Don. And you get to meet some of the other DeLucas as well for free. I'll have that in the description section as well. So pre-order your copy of Savage Bloodline and get Brutal Bloodline for free. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to me right here and ring that bell so that you can get notified the next time I have a great post. Thank you, and I look forward to reading with you. Bye.
Shut up and sit down.